I forgot to unmute. I knew I was going to do that too. And we are live in 3. Welcome to 4TW Live E3 Spectacular.
Hello.
We're doing our annual E3 special. So let's go ahead and get started. Joining me, of course, is Super Mario Benegas.
Yeah.
So, Mario, what did you think overall of E3? Now, don't get into specifics, just an overall brief synopsis, and we'll get into greater details here momentarily.
I think it was probably better than last year's, at the very, to say the least on that before getting into details. But I think to say it was better than last year's.
I agree. I think it was better than last year's. We definitely didn't. There was a better showing, especially in my opinion, from Microsoft, and Nintendo had a lot to show.
Oh, yeah.
Sony was Sony.
Yep, that's we couldn't exactly ask more out of Sony than what they.
Yeah, Sony didn't really impress me too much, but we'll get into that momentarily. So we'll go ahead and get started now. The one I mainly watched, and you probably watched a few more than me. The first one I watched was the Ubisoft presentation, which was pretty big. Ubisoft always does a big show that's actually very comparable to Sony and Microsoft, and not really Nintendo, because Nintendo does their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But with Ubisoft, they showed off the new South Park game called The Fractured But Whole. That looks like, I'm not a South Park fan, but it looks like fun.
Oh gosh, that's going to be hilarious as heck.
It looks great. We saw Transference, which was some sort of VR horror game. Didn't show any footage. I don't know if it's supposed to be a VR like FMV kind of game. They're kind of implying it might be, but I don't know. It had Elijah Wood in it, and did you see that demo?
That one I didn't get a chance to really sink my teeth into it, though. I kind of feel as if VR's kind of taken a wee bit of a backseat this year.
Yeah, but again, a lot of VR stuff. They did not push any VR stuff that much.
Yeah, I didn't quite get to see this one, though. I didn't get any chance to see anything VR related. Just didn't get a chance. Not even for Sony stuff either. But didn't get a chance to see this one.
They showed off Just Dance. Yay, dancers.
Yay.
The new South Park Destroyer phone game, which looks interesting if you want a mobile South Park game.
I would end up getting that only because basically they just kind of said, yes, they know that certain episodes were very, critical about how the mobile platform is and how the whole, microtransaction stuff is. But yet they say, watch what they're going to end up doing on this freaking little store on this smartphone game where they're going to contradict themselves. But it's South Park. They're allowed to do it.
Exactly.
So can't wait to see those little Easter eggs they're gonna end up probably doing on the phone. We'll see. Yeah. Hope it's good.
Then the big ones for me was the one I actually am most looking forward to is Skull and Bones, a pirate game.
I see that
I didn't
one.
play Assassin's Creed 4. I kind of stopped. I'm kind of catching up with the Assassin's Creed game, but pretty much what I hear is it's the pirates part of Assassin's Creed 4 without the assassins part.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It looks awesome. I wanted for years a good pirate game. I know there was a pirate MMO that was being developed for many years. I don't know if it ever came out or not. I can't remember the name of it, but Skull and Bones looks pretty cool. Had a really good trailer. It has naval combat. You can solo or you can form your own pirate fleet online with friends. Mm-hmm. They showed a PvP loot hunt, which was really cool. So you had 5 different ships. You had different types of cruisers. Each one has its own different advantages. Like a bulk cruiser is going to be, or a bulk frigate is going to be really have good, strong armor, but not really good offenses, but has good defenses. And it can run as a shield for the other ships, for the gunners. And, you got the regular, lighter ships with big guns. You got one that's almost like a sniper ship with long nines and has a mortar cannon on board. Really cool kind of game looking. That has giant sea monsters, which, yes, I want that. I want a whole bunch of monsters to fight. And it looks really, really cool. Did you see that preview?
Yeah, I did. I definitely say this one took me by surprise a little bit because, it's been it's kind of been pretty bone dry, no pun intended.
I've been saying for a while we need
for
we need
Pirates
some
games?
we need some shakeup in the formulas.
I-
Usually we get the annual FPSs, we get the annual updates. We'll talk about that with Sony. The regular expansions or the newest Call of Duties or the newest of the franchise games. But this was something new.
Yes, indeed.
It actually got me excited. And it isn't like, oh, it's another zombie adventure game. Again, I'll get back to that. It wasn't like, oh, it's another one of these. It wasn't another FPS. It wasn't some other sports game. It wasn't another just generic shooter. Nah, this looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. It definitely does.
Yep. The other thing they showed off was Steep, which is an extreme sports game. Whatever. Not my bag. Yeah. And Starlink, Battle for Atlas, which is
Starlink,
a sci-fi shooter game,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an NFC toy game at the same time. So you buy the toys, you put the stuff on the toys, and you expand your ship that way.
Yeah, so you basically got to buy your parts in case you want to upgrade your stuff on the game.
Yeah.
But I heard if you don't buy them, they're in digital form.
Yes,
if you don't
they are in digital
that way.
form as well. But my thing is, okay, and that's a good idea. My thing is with this, it's aimed obviously at a more mature audience than these types of games typically are. Normally, the toy and NFC games are aimed towards children, usually preteens and lower. You got Disney Infinities, you got Skylanders. There are teens that do play it, but mostly it's aimed at a younger, 12 and under crowd.
Amiibo.
Amiibos don't count because Amiibos add
No, I know.
functions to the games. I'm talking about
Yeah, yeah,
Skylanders and
Yeah.
Infinities and Lego Dimensions.
Totally.
Lego Dimensions anymore to a teen audience. This one seems to be aiming at an adult audience, and they even said it wants to be a 60s style sci-fi game. Now, my
Nice.
thought was with this, wouldn't it be better maybe to base this on an existing property?
You mean like No Man's Sky?
Transformers?
Kidding. Or Transformers. Okay. Not a bad idea.
Or any other pre-existing franchise you may be able to expand upon with this thing instead of building your own.
Mhm.
You're kind of starting from scratch in an arena that's already full somewhat. You got several high-end sci-fi shooters from Elite Dangerous. You got Star Citizen. You have a lot of these out there right now. You're kind of playing into a playground, No Man's Sky. You're playing into this with a different angle, but it's the same angle.
That's true. It is within about the same angle. You're right.
We'll see. It looks interesting. I'll see how this goes. Now, the other one was Far Cry 5. Now, has that come out yet?
I don't think so. No, not yet.
So, I've been seeing... Well, we're going to go a little bit into politics here. I know we try to avoid them for TW. I have my own show for that.
Yeah, you do.
But, yeah, it comes out in next year. But
Yeah.
All right. So, the big thing is, and this has been known for a while, and there's been a lot of hubbub about this, the villains in Far Cry 5 are right-wing militant extremists.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do we really
Yep.
need this?
We're gonna be touching onto that. We're gonna be touching those waters with this game. I mean, I've played a few Far Cry games myself, and they're usually very good in terms of that's the survival instinct, kind of mechanics that it's every game kind of has a different approach to the mechanics, which is good. This one, I mean, yeah, I can say all day long the visuals look pretty.
It does look pretty.
The structure, the timeline they're doing it is really nifty. But, I mean, getting down to this part now, I'm just saying, this is kind of, okay, there are a few things in my video games that I don't exactly, not to say that I don't want nor like to incorporate certain things onto there, because it kind of nudges me back into reality that oh gosh, we've already gone through this already. Why does this still have to be,
And we've already seen a game that did this. We've seen the new Outlast game kind of does that. We've had other ones that kind of do the cultish kind of games before.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily anything new. But my point is this something that we necessarily need like this?
Right.
Is this something that was deemed
we really need it?
necessary, I guess you could say?
Exactly.
In my opinion, not really, no.
Correct.
I'm not really sure what route they're going to go with this. If it's just going to be like that, I might be okay with it. Here, I'm showing the footage here right now. If this is what they're going to be doing, they come. It looks like the militant extremists. They're Christian. They're not necessarily Christian, but they are. They appear to be Christian in some way, and they come and take over a small town. And you're part of a militia group that comes in to kind of take it back. Mm-hmm. Is the plot? It looks like a good game, a beautiful game. The Far Cry games always have a great look and aesthetic.
Yeah, they do.
We had one was like I think awesome. Yeah, you were like a Asian warlord in one. You had Primal was like taking place in the
in the prehistoric
era, yeah, stuff like that.
It definitely knows what element it can work into. This one, I just kind of feel as if we're just gonna be
don't hit people over the head with the political messages. Is all I'm asking.
That's
don't do that.
Yeah, that's
bad Ubisoft. Don't do that.
That's kind of where I'm getting at with it. Yeah, it's like Metal Gear Solid. I know some people can say, well, Metal Gear Solid's like one of those really big political ones, but the difference is that it's political with a heavy dose of sci-fi.
Which one?
Metal Gear, like the Metal Gear series.
Yeah.
That's political. There is definitely a good reference to certain things, but then you've got the giant Kojima sci-fi with it that just says, "Oh, okay, it's just really it's altered, in a sense to fit the story,
And the big announcement, in my opinion, at E3 for Ubisoft was Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Woo-wee, man.
I never played the first one, but I heard nothing but good things about it.
I've played it, owned it, have it, PS2,
I got it, I just haven't played it yet.
I just bought it for like $3 on Xbox Live for the Xbox 360 compatibility when they had the sale for like $3, man. I said, yes, why not?
It looks amazing. It looks like fun.
I mean, granted to say this was all like a cinema. Like a scene.
I was even saying while watching, I'm like, can I just get a movie like this? Screw the game.
No.
Seriously,
no, man.
I'll just watch the movie. The movie looks fun.
Well, I can totally agree. I totally agree with that. It really is great. Not to say a concern, but I'm just simply wondering, all right, so how is the actual gameplay mechanics going to work? Like, how is it going to be and such here? I mean, I played the first game to say, watching this trailer and, hearing like all the, a bit of the profanity that was onto this one. Here I am thinking, whoa. Okay, that's a little different because the first game had nothing like that. I felt as if the first game was something within the universe of Ratchet and Clank, kind of in that.
Well, it's a prequel to the first game.
Correct. Yeah. I got that. It's so seeing those slight altercations and slight little changes on that part, I said, that's fine. I'll invite that because you know what? That just made it more sassier, more interesting.
Well, it looks good. I'm going to play the first one, see what it's like. This has been a game 15 years in the making. It's a game that I missed first time around, but the trailer looks great. They showed a little bit of gameplay. It looks really, really fun. Looks like something I'll probably be buying. Yeah. So, good on Ubisoft. Ubisoft had a really impressive showing, in my opinion. Had
a chance to play the first one, man. If you have your Xbox One, it's probably still
for PC.
For PC, great. Then just give it a chance to play it. It's a good game.
So, Sony was the next one on my list here. So, Sony, or as I like to call them, expansion pack galore. Because pretty much all they did was sell us on expansions for existing titles or sequels. Or non-console exclusives. So, we got Uncharted Lost Legacy, which is an expansion pack for Uncharted Thief's End.
Which, by all standards of Naughty Dog here, looked phenomenal.
Looks great.
Again,
expansion pack.
Yeah, expansion pack to it. You get to play as Chloe and such.
Maybe 10, 15 hours of gameplay.
Likely. That's very likely to it. It's a very eye candy, very pretty looking game. And, I am going to pick up to play it out. I'm
what
definitely
if I had a PS4?
No, I know, right?
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds, another expansion pack for a game I don't play.
which is I do own the game. The game is really freaking awesome. To know, I mean, to coming approaching it not as DLC with just expanding a little bit, but a full blown expansion to keep building more on and giving you more landmass to go to. I thought was fine. I'm just hoping the pricing of it will be fair. Is my only concern for that one.
The new IP they showed off was Days Gone, another zombie game.
It was interesting.
It's a zombie game.
They were trying to promote it as
a zombie game.
You can use the zombies in a certain way because killing zombies all the time may just be monotonous. The people are the worser enemies in this game. But at the end of the day, when I saw the demo, I said, "Yeah, some mechanics can turn the the way how a group of zombies can be, and you can just turn it to your advantage to get the upper hand in a camp.
But
it's still just zombies. So
exactly.
It was okay,
and it looked okay. It looks like a cross between Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy.
There we go.
It's a cinematic game like Uncharted.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of quick time events. Sony was doing some weird ass performance art during their presentation with dangling bodies from the ceiling that moved with the game footage. It was weird. Sony had a weird performance. Like when they first started, they're doing some sort of like musical performance art shit. I don't know. It was fucking weird, man. I skipped it.
Last year's what I thought they did a very nice job with last year's. This year was a little bit underwhelming.
The other one. Now I didn't finish this presentation. Unfortunately, I kind of ran low on time. So if I miss anything in Sony, let me know. The last footage I saw during the trailers. Hang on. The last thing I saw for trailers before they all came out, started yabba yabba yabba, was Monster Hunter World.
Which I saw that as Monster Hunter Light.
I saw it as Monster Hunter meets Breath of the Wild.
That too. Mm-hmm.
And they had dinosaurs.
And
it was probably the most realistic version of the game I've seen.
Oh yeah, I mean,
usually it does have. It's not a. It does take artistic license with the game. It isn't usually. It's usually kind of Pokemon-ish in graphics in a way. Is what I say. It looks CG. It looks. That's what I'm looking for.
It looks more.
Isn't as realistic.
It looks more in the 3DS or since Nintendo's had the platform for so much, it's been stylized more than this one is.
This one is realistic.
Look, here's we're using realistic textures. We're gonna give it.
And I don't play Monster Hunter, but it might be one I pick up. And it has dragons.
yeah, definitely.
It looks good. I'll be honest. It looks very beautiful. Mm-hmm. I was really blown away by it. I really was, and I didn't think I was going to be. It looks really good. Were there any other trailers that I missed?
God of War.
God of War. I did not see that one yet.
It definitely anchored. Well, not anchored because I mean we kind of knew what was sort of.
But
going
again,
on.
It's also God of War, so the gameplay is going to be the same.
It's
Norse gods now.
I mean, from the visual standpoint, it is the quintessential epitome of what you can push this PS4 to do. I mean, Uncharted looked great because that's another, that's the sharpest of the sharpest games I've seen on that thing. But God of War, Kratos just kind of comes up on screen and just kind of kicks everybody else off and just says, "No, look at me." That's what I kind of got out of it. I said, I mean, visually speaking, wow, just
wow. I got the trailer up right now. It does look pretty good.
It does. I mean, it just looks pretty darn phenomenally, very dang good.
But Sony always makes the God of War games look fairly.
Yeah, well, and that's usually with the studio.
The kid's going to die.
His son, in this case, the one of the thousand.
Kratos without it being very tragic.
That's true. I'm trying to think here. Last of Us 2, no, Last of Us 2 did not make an appearance. Gran Turismo Sport, I believe, did have a trailer, which it's Gran Turismo. I mean, much like Forza Motorsports, I don't necessarily care too much for them. They visually look very nice. I am slightly disappointed with the idea that we have all this horsepower. we can make games look like this, but for some reason, things such as geometrically made shaped things that we use every day, such as your car, for some reason, we still can't get those things looking really photorealistic for some reason.
Yeah. They also showed off the Spider-Man game coming out.
Which looked cool.
It looks cool, but it's an open world Spider-Man game. They're trying to make it sound like it's something new. I'm like, you've been doing open world Spider-Man games since what, Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, it's only because Insomniac has their name slapped on this one, and people are hoping that Insomniac, with a good reputation that they have, Insomniac never really have made a bad game. So I guess people just want to say, all right, how are they going to make it, differently than the last couple of ones? And I gotta honestly say,
yeah, because who did the last few? Activision had the rights.
Activision, I believe, was
it was the same studio. I want to say Bees Tech or something like that. I know they were obviously making Spider-Man games because of the movies, the last couple of movies we've had. Well, they had a few that weren't. They did Beanox. Beanox was who did them. The Beanox games were pretty decent. They weren't great, but they weren't bad.
Yeah, I think people can agree with that. You said, but I think a lot of people would probably agree to say probably since Spider-Man 2, back with like Dr. Octopus and such, I think most would agree that was at its best. Everything else from that point till hopefully this new one has been normal, okay. That's about as where Spider-Man's gone to. I think Insomniac's been taking some notes from Batman Arkham City, Arkham Knight, because the way how Spider-Man just kind of reacts combat-wise, maybe not the QuickTime stuff, but the way how he goes on the combat, I'm like, whoa, they're definitely taking a couple things from Batman. But that's good though. That's fine. If that makes Spider-Man great, I think the game has potentially. I think the game potentially could be great. I'm hopeful for this one.
Yeah, I'm showing the footage of it right now. It looks pretty interesting. The graphics look okay. I'm not really like, woo!
They look good.
But, for a game like this, I'm not going to expect anything too gritty.
Yeah. He's very expressive, the way how the eyes move and how his body language works and such. That's good. That's kind of one thing you catch.
It very much does remind me of Arkham.
Exactly.
The Arkham series.
It just, you have to have that type of body language that, that Spider-Man is known for.
Yeah. I'll check it out when it comes out, for sure. It's on PS4. If I get one, I'll probably check it out. Well, and I'm pretty sure, I don't think it's a console exclusive.
It from as far as I know, I believe it is.
Yeah, Sony's publishing it. So
yeah. Sony's money's on this one, and Insomniac. Well, Insomniac has only made like one game outside from PlayStation or from the PlayStation platform.
Sunset Overdrive.
Well, a few. Yeah, so I said one outside of it. Sunset Overdrive. Oh yeah! Wow, that's going back a wee bit. So very sparing.
They did some Oculus games. So
yeah, very
Song
sparing.
of the Deep was multi-platform.
Oh yeah. Very sparingly they've kind of done this because everything else has been on their big side of their other franchises has only been this one.
All right, so Microsoft. I don't know why I went all southern there. They brought out the big guns.
All right.
The Xbox One X. First off, stupid fucking name. I would have rather just been the Xbox Scorpio.
As most people probably would agree. There was someone I heard on you. There's another person on YouTube that they kind of pretty much mentioned that all it was simply missing was an Xbox One E version and just call it the sex platform. Because we have an Xbox One S, now an X, now we need an E.
All right, so it is an upgraded, but not a new console.
Correct.
I'm not going to go over the specs. You can look those up yourself. But I'm going to go over the important things here you need to know. 1, there will be no console exclusives for the Xbox One X.
Correct, people.
They said no. Every game will be for the Xbox One. The Xbox One X is an upgraded version. So if you want 4K, HDR, Dolby Atmos, and Rec 2020, or as they like to call it, wider color gamut, which is Rec 2020, you have to have a Xbox One X. If you don't worry about it. You're still going to be able to play the same exact game.
Correct.
Pretty much, congratulations, you discovered how settings work, Microsoft. They pretty much just create patches for existing games. There will be existing games they'll utilize it probably through patching. They'll just detect what system you're using and apply settings accordingly for that. Just like we've been doing on our PC since Quake.
Yep. So instead of manually doing it yourself, they'll be doing it automatically based on the software patch on the game.
They're making a big deal that it's true 4K, whatever the hell that means. It's 4K. HDR, Dolby Atmos, Rec 20 color. All Xbox One and all Xbox One games and accessories will work. It will enhance the current library. And through super scaling, it will actually improve current games for 1080p. In other words, it'll take the games, scale them up, and downscale them again. Now, this isn't anything new. PC games have been doing this for a long time. A lot of people will run their games at a higher resolution than their monitor can support and let it scale it down, let the system scale it back down to a... actually, that's how anti-aliasing works, by the way. It renders everything at a much higher... And anisotropic filtering kind of works that way, too. Scales it, doubles, triples the resolution, and then shrinks it back down so you get a better, clearer picture. It's going to be doing that. Nothing new. It's just new for consoles. And this is probably the most powerful console anyone's ever made. I think they said it's going to be $500.
$500 for this for this version, coming out.
Oh, and it will have a 4K. It will have Ultra HD drive built in. So,
yeah,
I will be buying one.
Thoughts for me in this case. I like what's under the hood. Don't get me wrong. What's under the hood on the Xbox One X is it's mighty fine. It definitely is. I think for the year that Microsoft had to take off and get this behemoth on, hopefully out the gate by the time it's holiday season here, is it going to bear them, the fruit that they think it's going to be, that it's probably going to be, that they think it's going to give them? I may stand on the side to say it may not. $4.99 already. People were already complaining about that back in 2013. I know the perspective is now, well, you're not getting a Kinect. You're getting an Ultra Blu-ray disc drive. You're getting physically more RAM than you are getting, let's say, when you're jumping to the Pro. You're getting the same amount of RAM, but you're getting a tweaked up GPU and a tweaked up CPU, and that's what Sony validates it to be $400, But you're not getting an Ultra Blu-ray drive. Don't get me started.
No, I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I know. Don't get me started.
I was
going
to buy a PS4, but when I found out it didn't have an Ultra HD drive, I'm like,
I know.
Fuck it.
I know. I own one and everything, and I tell you one thing, that is still my rant to this day. I feel as if I got a jump, but I got a jump that I felt as if they were kind of just saying, oh, people don't care about stuff like that anymore. We're just going to keep the 4K stuff on the streaming because that's what their that's what their argument was that 4K streaming like on Netflix and Hulu, Amazon Prime. I understand that's there, but what about that content that's coming onto disc that is just not there yet on the streaming services? Why not give the person that ability to put that ultra high definition Blu-ray drive in your freaking console? In any case, I'll digress with Sony here, but my only spiel with Microsoft was that they released that S last year. And now we're jumping on another one here. So I've already made that jump and upgrade to my S here. I kind of feel as if they should have just kept the normal one from last year, not even mention the S at this point, and now talk about the X at this point. So therefore, the jump would have just been one console jump rather than now turning into a total of 3.
Yeah.
And that's my spiel. That's just my spiel with them.
No, I agree completely. This is what the Xbox One should have been. Now they're saying we're releasing it now so you people can go look at it.
I'm just like, guys, you already made me waste $300 on your S. Now you want me to do another $500 on your X here. I know they're not forcing it. I know Phil Spencer has gone on record and said he's not, this was built around the people who wanted premium, may have been waiting on the sidelines or this and this and that. But I'm kind of thinking, but what about the current base that did do the upgrade, and now you're kind of asking us to pile up another $500.
I agree completely.
That's all.
They showed off a few new games.
Yeah.
Some, they showed off, of course,
Forza 7.
Forza, which, even though I'm not a racing guy,
it looked good.
Holy crap, does that look beautiful? But then again, Forza's always look beautiful.
It looked good. It
always looks good. Gran Turismo ain't got shit on Forza. They really don't. I'm sorry.
They're both good in this case here.
Forza just always impresses me with the look and the gameplay. Always has.
No. I'm not. I won't argue that part. As both of them in this case, being that the titles that they are and what they represent, they're both to me in the same class. Maybe not about the visual part of it, but in terms of what they're trying to deliver in this case. But visually speaking, it's like I look at Forza, looks good. I look at Gran Turismo, it looks good too, for different reasons. But yet at the end of the day, I'm thinking, how come these games just don't look photorealistic yet? What is still holding these games?
You're working on it.
These games,
it still looks pretty damn realistic.
No, they do. No. I think what it is though, because now we're finally incorporating weather physics. They're finally incorporating other things that the terrain part. Because you say you can make a car look really freaking good, but if the terrain around it doesn't look as good, that's what I think keeps it from achieving that.
Oh yeah. They showed off Crackdown 3. Crackdown. It looks pretty, but
it was.
I'm not a big fan of the Crackdown game.
Yeah, I mean, my problem with Microsoft's press conference was, they came out swinging. They came out with a bold statement. They came out with hardware that I said,
showed 2 console exclusives.
Yeah, and everything else was coming out with
Forza. Then they showed off Sea of Thieves, which we already saw. They showed. Sea of Thieves is theirs. That's the other one I was thinking of.
That one's theirs, but not much else to do. They did show people jumping off the ships.
Sea of Thieves was the pirate MMO I was thinking of.
The MMO game coming out, which I'm thinking the other game is doing
Rare?
better. Yeah, Rare's doing that one. And, fingers crossed that it's either going to be okay or it's just really going to suck.
It's going to be competing with Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones.
With Skull and Bones is more realistic looking. This is more cartoony.
And more the pirate fantasy and such. Yeah, I get that part. It's just Microsoft, and it's like, look, guys, and it's not even like Microsoft. Phil Spencer, because he's the face. He is the face, absolute face of Microsoft in terms of the division for the Xbox platform. I like Phil. Phil Spencer.
He ain't Reggie, but he's good.
Phil Spencer is a good guy. I can sit down with him.
No one beats the Regmeister.
The Regmeister. Reggie's iron. He's iron steel. He's iron steel. With Phil Spencer, I feel as if I can sit down and competently talk with him about certain things, that do concern me sometimes a little bit with how things have been going with the Xbox platform. A lot of things, like I've been saying this from time and time again, and I'm a broken record ever since I forgot the gentleman's name who was the head of Xbox before Phil, and this was right when the Xbox One was launching back in 2013. But after that entire crap hit the fan, Phil Spencer has been trying to clean up all of the crap that hit the fan. And he's been doing good on a lot of aspects. A lot of things, he has the says, he has whatever final say he has. I think he's got a good vision. It's just, I think, down to is, the fact that the platform has been trying to catch up this entire time.
What do they catch up on? I mean, they're not doing... Okay.
Well, and I'm meaning catching up in terms of, I know they don't want to talk about numbers. I know they don't want to compare themselves to the competition now. Like everybody's taking that route now. Is that, oh no, we're okay. Sony can be up there with their 70 million PlayStations. Yeah, we have about 30 on our end here, but we're fine with that. And here I am thinking, you guys would have not have said that if this was back in the Xbox 360 era, only 8 years back.
No, because they were owning the landscape back then.
Correct. So the attitude
But
had the attitude
Microsoft's
changed.
trying to make up for the bad. I mean,
And they are, and
we don't
and they're
have any official numbers from Microsoft.
no, and I
Last
know,
time we had
and
numbers is 2014.
no, exactly, and I know they don't want to talk about numbers like this anymore, but I kind of feel as if to say, okay, you still have a loyal basis, you still have the loyal base. That part you're not going to lose here.
You gotta,
Getting
don't
getting
have
new
to,
people
you
in
don't
is a
have
tough.
to be number one every generation. It's
Correct.
not going to happen. I mean, face it. PS2 beat the crap out of the Xbox. Xbox 360 beat the crap out of the PS3.
Yep.
Microsoft's beating the crap out of them by PS4. Guess what? Next generation, they may take the lead.
They may take the lead.
Microsoft burned some bridges with some stupid decisions they made early on with in the development
And we have,
phases.
and that's why I was just trying to make my point was, and we have someone who's as competent as Phil Spencer. But I was thinking, man, Phil Spencer should have been the head of this lead here since the beginning.
Microsoft got extremely lucky. They've sold as much as some say 30 million.
Let's
They're
just
lucky
say,
they've sold that much because they made a lot of bad will in the last few years. They do more hardware revisions than any other of the manufacturers. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
More than other manufacturers. That's including Nintendo, who releases a new 3DS every couple of years.
every couple of
How
years.
many
And,
Xbox 360 models were there? What, 5?
oh my gosh, we got 360, 360 Elite, then the 360 base unit,
360
then the
arcade.
then the
S,
arcade.
the S Slim
S-
or whatever.
and then it was the S Slim. I think was the very last one they did. So it was like five reiterations of the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of them were within the same hardware. This was not the time where they were wanting to dare to make
And
it.
Microsoft
you know,
hasn't shown us
better.
any, in my opinion, they haven't given us exclusives that make me want to say I need to buy an Xbox.
And that's where it still comes down to at the end of the day with me with
because
them.
all their exclusives were just temporary ones. You had Tomb Raider, which was temporary. You had Gears 4, which the Gears fans will play, but also they fucked that up with only, 8 to 10 hours of actual single-player play? What the fuck?
Right. I'm playing it right now on my Xbox One S. And granted, Gears 4 is a pretty darn fun. It's a pretty darn fun game.
No, it
I
is.
almost feel, but I feel as if I've been playing maybe 6 hours, and now I'm really feeling as if, oh boy, I really feel as if the ending's coming quickly.
It is.
Jeez.
Yeah, Microsoft, most of the games they showed off were multi-platform games. The big thing to me, we'll talk about this when we get to Nintendo,
Yeah.
but the fact that Microsoft and Nintendo are fully in cross-platform
That
gaming.
was
Sony is
the
not.
surprise. No, I know that, but overall, when they were talking about that with such titles such as Minecraft, and
So-
when I heard about that, I said, "Oh,
Let's talk about the
man,
big thing with
that's
Nintendo.
good."
Let's go and switch gears to Nintendo real quick.
Sure.
Nintendo announced that Rocket League and Microsoft announced Minecraft will be cross-platform. So if you have it on the Switch, on the PC, or on the Xbox One, you can play with other people on those platforms.
On those platforms, I thought that was
Up till now, that's
wonderful.
almost unprecedented.
Yep.
They've played with this a couple of times, but never been like we're all in.
Mm-hmm.
Sony gave everyone the middle finger.
Pretty much.
And
They
Microsoft
wanna.
beating up on them for it.
Yep, I heard.
I know
my
Spencer beat up on them.
Spence, yes, yeah, Mr. Spencer definitely raised his concerns
That
about
to
that
me
part
is the biggest
because.
announcement of E3.
Oh yeah, well
Multi-platform
that was
game.
at least that was Microsoft's biggest howl, and in my opinion, to the rest of the gaming industry was that part is that we're trying new things, and at this point, if we want to really expand the library of everybody, well then why not have certain titles let everybody play, no matter what platform you're on.
Mhm.
I thought it was a wonderful idea, especially with Rocket League. I said,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
And Rocket League 2. I said, so Nintendo is playing nice. Not that I'm saying Nintendo would be either closed-minded to the idea.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years back, different
Because
different time.
you got a new CEO who understands that you have to
Yeah.
embrace this market this way. I think this could hurt Sony in the end. This
I,
could be the thing that hurts Sony is if this takes
going,
off,
yeah,
Sony's going to be left in the dust.
it's gonna say pressure, but I'm gonna probably say on the community side, gamers are gamers no matter where or what side
Yeah.
you're on, what team you're playing for. If someone comes to you and says, "Dude, I can play hey, you want to play Minecraft on, I'm on my Xbox, but that's okay. We can, can you play on your PS4?" And you have to sadly tell them no. How many situations and times have
Many.
you with friends that you want to play a game with them, but they're playing for Team Green, I'm playing for Team Blue, and for some reason I really wish we could just
Now
can
I'm
be
going to play for Team Rainbow because it doesn't
exactly.
matter anymore what platform you're on. If you're on an Xbox, you're on I'm on Switch, we can still play. If I'm on a PC, I can still play.
And
You don't have to buy multiple copies on multiple platforms to cover
right.
it.
Would have come in so much handy, like within just the last 4 years. At
Last
this
generation would have been great, especially games like Borderlands.
Gosh, Borderlands would have been freaking awesome. It would have been great.
Minecraft would have been great back then.
I think a game like Overwatch.
All the FPSs would have been nice.
Yeah. I think something like Overwatch, since it's such a huge and popular title,
I think
is it cross? Is it?
No, it's not.
I don't.
But it will be.
I think that game
because I think Overwatch is coming to the Switch, and once it does, it's probably going to. Blizzard's probably just holding off on that announcement.
I know Blizzard's been they've been hesitant. They've only danced, and they didn't even dance around the idea, but they just pretty much said I mean they love I mean, as far as some people say, they love the console, they love what it can do. Would they want it on the on the Switch? I think the consensus for so far is sure. Is it coming out for it?
They'll announce it at BlizzCon.
They might, who knows if it'll be something like that. But if they do announce, cross-platform play, I think that would be such a wonderful thing to do right there. I mean, I played Diablo 3 on my PS4. I love Diablo 3. It's a freaking awesome game, and yet it breaks me a little bit sometimes that I've got other friends that love it too. Oh, but guess what? They're playing it on Xbox One, and we can't cross-play. And that's the part that I say it's a horribly missed opportunity for certain people that, if he's playing for Team Green, Team Red, Team Blue, who cares at this point?
I don't know. Nintendo, their big things are, of course, Mario Odyssey. They showed actual footage.
Gosh, man, I mean, I didn't ask for a game to knock my socks off for 3-3, but that one made them fly off in the little hats.
They showed off that. They showed off a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Looks great. Amazing.
I have to say to many people who say the Switch was so underpowered, but when I saw Mario Odyssey, I said, no, that's not underpowered by no standards by a Nintendo platform. I mean, I look at that and I'm like, I look at Breath of the Wild, and again, I'm a broken record. I say Breath of the Wild was designed on the Wii U hardware, ported over to the Switch. It was not made completely from the ground up with Switch hardware. Mario Odyssey is definitely a title that shows this is probably just one, a twinkle or a spark.
I don't think that's going to be the one that's going to show off the true performance of the Switch. No. And I'll tell you in a minute which one it is.
I want to come across as this is just what it can do with maybe 1 or 2 years of development.
Phenomenal. Looks like it's the first open world Mario game. This was announced when they announced the Switch. But this is the very first open world Mario game we've had since Mario Sunshine.
I think they say it's a little bit on the sandbox side, but I mean, open world and sandbox games, sometimes there's a blurry line between the two that they have similarities in terms of how they function. So yeah, I think so too.
This reminds me a lot of Sunshine and Mario 64.
Yeah, exactly. Just vast and big.
Yeah, this looks.
I mean, the visuals look beautiful. Mario is so much more expressive. I mean, you can now see the hair, his hair strands on his mustache. You can see all the little itty-gritty little textures of his clothing and everything.
It's still Mario.
And it's still, and that's what it still is. It's still him, but it's him finally. I almost want to call it. I think Mario finally got to a level of like a Pixar animated, really pretty movie. Finally,
Yeah, it does.
It's finally gotten to that.
Yeah, we'll see what it looks like when it comes out. I don't think it's going to be genre redefining like Breath of the Wild, but it will be a very welcome addition to
The whole
that
hat
franchise.
thing now that his hat can like change things and he can possess enemies. I thought that just sold me. I said, no, that's it. Take it. Take all my money. Take it all.
Kirby has a new game coming out.
And it
It looks very much like Return to Dreamland with upgraded graphics and some co-op built in. So
with Kirby, I have a little special place in my heart for
oh
Kirby.
no,
It's
it
almost
doesn't
like
look bad. It's just
it's like Kirby can't do no wrong sometimes.
no, it's gonna make money. It's gonna be
so,
fun.
dude. I think it's gonna be great.
They showed off Yoshi.
Yoshi looks
looks
freaking.
gorgeous.
I had no words for it. For what I said, what's cuter than Yoshi being full of yarn? Now it's Yoshi made of, I'm assuming, cotton. But now you make everything like a
It's
diorama.
Yoshi's Woolly World kind of combined with Yoshi's Story. I don't know if you remember Yoshi's Story on the N64, but they kind of did this cardboard cutout kind of environment.
Really? Okay.
With it. Kind of like a drawn environment.
Okay.
And it very much reminds me of that. It reminds me very much of Yoshi's Story.
Mm-hmm.
Only good, because Yoshi's Story wasn't a very good game.
wasn't that good. Yeah, I never had a chance to play it, so I'm not sure.
And you fully go in 3D here. There's some depth to the system or to the game. Because
now you can like
you're
shoot
playing in
into
like
the,
a diorama world.
You can shoot into the background and to the foreground depending on what you're trying to manipulate on the environment a little bit, which I thought was I'm like, oh my gosh. When I first saw this, I mean, I wanted to show my wife so badly, but she was at work at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's just gonna fall in love with
like
this
you
little
said,
guy.
it looks like a Pixar movie.
I know it totally
really
does. I mean, it gives me the feeling of like of Little Big Planet, but in the terms of a Yoshi game, of a Nintendo style little Big Planet style kind of game.
Oh yeah.
But no, I love this. This is going to be in a little tile. Yes, I will pick it up. It's a definite yes.
Then they went and showed us, let's see, the DLC for Breath of the Wild.
I'm a little confused with it because, okay, yes, I don't own a Switch, and no, I'm not. Not that I refuse to play on my Wii U, but I really want to take that title on the Switch. But how do you feel about the DLC for it?
It's DLC. This isn't the story pack we were promised. That's coming later, I think.
Okay. So is there going to be more than? Is this technically DLC 1 and 2 that he announced? Or so is there going to be a total of like 4, if I recall, when he first talked about it?
2, 3. There's a couple.
Okay. So more than 2 in this case, because that season pass was supposed to encompass quite a bit.
Yeah, all of them. I think there's 4 coming, but one of them's a story. This one just adds some new trials and some new elements to the game. It looks good. I'm not like woo, but mainly because.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think at any point they're going to bring in a patch for the game where they might bump up the visuals in a drastic way, but more like okay, we're at because I know they say it caps at 900p. Even on the TV mode, will you think they might be able to finally say, well, you know what, we got better tweaks.
I think it's the limitations of the engine, so no.
Of the engine itself, not the Switch, particularly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, this wasn't designed for the Switch.
Yeah, correct. I know. I quoted it myself. This was made on a Wii U
it's
engine.
It's possible, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to review. I'm working on my review for it right now because it took me this long to do a review on it.
Well, yeah. I know Nintendo doesn't necessarily, use patches for like visual upgrades. No. I know they do it very rarely.
Well,
they ever do that.
It looks. I'll be buying it to try it out. I'm not like overly excited, only because it's just gonna add value to my game that I'm still playing now.
Yeah. I know.
Breath of the Wild is the greatest video game ever made.
You have been telling me that one for some time.
It is the greatest video game ever made. It is practically flawless. Nothing's completely flawless, but the voice acting can be a little. Other than that, and the controls can take a little adjustment. Flawless. Greatest video game I ever played. Adding to it is just going to make it more fun for me.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. Have you had a chance to play Mario Kart Deluxe yet?
Yes, I have it.
And by comparison to the Wii U, because I know you have it on the Wii U,
the graphics are smoother,
sharper. Are they
sharper.
full? Is it 1080p? Because I heard on the Wii U it was at 720, right?
Dual screen or single screen, yes, and multi-screen, no.
Yeah,
it doesn't run at 60 frames, then it runs at 30.
I know it drops it to 30 like the Wii U.
But
when you
it still is a fun game. You get some extra cards. You have real battle mode, which is great. You can't even do battle mode on the regular courses anymore. So it's what Mario Kart 8 should have been.
Awesome. Well, good to know then, because I've been hearing that one's been pushing more switches to get out.
Very good.
A quick segue into one thing that I'm not sure if you've heard about was basically that Nintendo hasn't been talking too much about, like, has it been selling as much as it had, like, since March? I mean, they basically
really? I still can't find Switches in stores.
Well, no. And going to that point here was basically because the production side of the Switch has been a little bit more sluggish because of the fact that one of the key components, which I think is the internal flash memory, Apple or many other companies, in the mobile market,
a lot of them use them.
that need that.
Yeah.
Therefore, Nintendo's kind of in that position that they can ask for a lot, but whomever the vendor is at this point, or whomever is supplying, is basically saying, well, here's kind of the problem. We have Apple who wants 100 million of these things, and we can only willingly spare to give Nintendo,
the Switch
like,
has already sold 1.2 million units, which is more than the Wii.
No, yeah. I mean, like,
and we
I know
it's how much the Wii sold.
In total, like at the month of May, I think it was like a 2.74 million, which is almost close to
2 as of May 26th. Yeah.
I'm just more simply saying the shortages that we're seeing here. Do you think these shortages are going to go all the way into the holidays?
No, they'll get it under control.
You think, and that's what I'm with myself, because every piece of software they have talked about coming out this year. I mean, they've got an arsenal coming out this year that is ready to take on the holidays. It is ready to get these on the shelves.
The big announcement for me, Nintendo, was one they made during the press conference and one they made after.
Sure.
Metroid 4.
Oh,
Metroid
yes.
Prime
No.
4.
You should have seen.
You want to know about a game that's going to push that system to the limit? That's it.
It's going to push the system, so it's going to push it a lot. Yeah, definitely. I will agree to that. When I heard the little sound effects and the soundtrack coming, I said, "Yep, it is Metroid Prime."
Now we don't know who's
even before the logo
it.
came out. It's not Retro Studios.
No.
Just by confirmation, it's a brand new studio group by a hand. However, the producer of who's been doing Prime this entire time is still taking the helm, but the studio itself is someone different,
which is fine.
I will tell you
what they say. Kensuke Tanabe is overseeing the project. He worked on producer of Prime as well as Federation Force. It's due out in summer 2018. They are working on a game at Retro. No one knows really what it is. The other thing they announced, which I'm extremely excited about, is Metroid: The Return of Samus, which is a remake of Metroid 2.
Yep,
Samus Returns.
I cannot wait for that one on the 3DS. That one was yes, finally. Why has it taken this? Why has it taken?
Well, this also explains why. What was it? ARM2, which was a Metroid 2 fan remake, got a cease and desist. Now we know why. Nintendo was already working on the Return of Samus, on a remake of Return of Samus.
All we need
now just called Metroid Samus Returns, but
yeah, exactly.
It's it looks fun. It is a 2D. It is a 2.5D game.
Mm-hmm.
You get multiple. I know you have multiple new items and weapons.
Multiple new
in the
weapons. You
game.
now have a free range shooting mode instead of
Yep.
only Samus having 8 ways or
You also
8 positions
have
to
the
shoot.
ability to melee attack enemies,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. It looks it looks
For a 3DS game,
for
it
a
looks
3DS
great.
game looks great.
It-
I'll be
this is-
buying
this
it
is
for
one
sure.
I will be getting.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Metroid, so
Oh yeah.
I'm there. Metroid 2 is kind of that forgotten child of Metroid games.
Yeah.
Because when people talk about great Metroid games, you always talk about the Prime series. For 2D, you always talk about the original or
Super Metroid.
Super Metroid.
But Metroid 2, if I
sometimes-
recall, Metroid 2 was a Game Boy only game, right?
It was
Yes.
actually one of the first. It was one of the first Metroid games, or one of the first DS games. It was in '91. I want to say it came out. It was an early Game Boy game. I don't know many people who had it. I had it.
I think I
remember
did.
that I bought it.
I did get it with the Embassy thing on my 3DS, and I do have it now. Now I'm just going to be playing it on my 3DS now.
It is actually it's very linear for a Metroid game. It is extremely linear,
Sure.
which it got a lot of flack for that. Whatever. There's not as much exploration in it as there was in the older ones. It doesn't have you have to kill a certain number of Metroids in a level to get to another level, to another part of the map.
Hmm?
There's not any
Isn't
backtracking at all.
isn't this the game where Samus actually gets that, where the Metroid baby gets attached to her?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Sweet. Okay, so we get to see that at least from a remake standpoint. That's good. That's good.
And the Metroid remakes I have played have been pretty. Or they've remade one before, and they remade it Zero Mission for the GBA, which was a remake of Metroid, the original, for updated with would essentially be a Super Metroid remake.
Yeah.
I like Zero Mission.
Zero Mission was fun. I had a really good time with that
And
one.
Fusion is a pretty fun game. Not as good as Super Metroid, and it suffers from similar faults as Metroid 2. It's very linear, but it's a fun game.
Yep, indeed.
I'll be picking this up, playing it for sure, because
Oh
Metroid
yeah,
2
this is
is
definitely one
one
again.
of my favorite games on the Game Boy. I play probably once every couple of years. I'll put it in. In fact, I thought I had the cartridge over here. I do have the Super Metroid cartridge.
Here's what I wanted to mention. When they were talking about Pokemon, because they were talking about Pokken Tournament for the Switch, and then when they had it with the gentleman who works at Mad Studio, my goodness, not Mad Studios, but the Pokemon Studio, and when he said that there is a core Pokemon game coming out for the Switch, and pretty much confirmed by him, I said at that moment in time, I said, that's it. It's done. Nintendo has officially sold another 20 million Switches without even lifting a finger, with only just having that one statement being said. Because I know that's been on everybody's mind about Pokemon and Switch. Once he said that, I said, that's about it. You know what? I think Nintendo's perfectly fine. I don't think they have to worry about anything. Just get the Switches out.
By the way, the best comment I've seen for the Metroid announcement for both games was a screen capture from Archer with Krieger saying, "My penis can't get any more erect." Yes.
That's about right.
That's what I was like when I saw that announcement. I'm like, yay!
Yep. That's what I thought too. I know they showed Skyrim also on the Switch working on it. You can use the amiibo functionality, which I thought was a pretty nifty touch, and it looked for Skyrim, as old as Skyrim is, it looks pretty darn good on the Switch.
You'll be getting a new Samus amiibo in her Metroid 2 pose. You'll be getting a Metroid amiibo,
nice,
which is new. They had a wedding Mario, Peach, and Bowser amiibo that'll also be coming out.
Man,
to coincide with.
we are just going to be needing an entire room just dedicated to just amiibos.
I don't buy amiibos.
And they're so cool looking. Though. So
I
cool
did.
looking.
I gave up on that when it started. I buy them when I need them for functions for games, but other than that, I don't buy them.
I get you, man.
Because otherwise, I'd
no. Because I agree.
have a new hobby,
I bought a
so,
few, and
yeah.
I kind of said I can't
sure
turn this into like getting every single one because it's just too much.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2, that's coming out
Splatoon
here.
2?
ARMS
Yeah.
came out yesterday,
we
which
knew that was already coming. They did show
Yeah.
more Splatoon 2 and ARMS, which comes out.
it came out yesterday.
Yes, it came out yesterday.
And the reviews have been
my
surprisingly
copy.
well for that game too. It's
Wait.
been surprisingly very
I wasn't home. I gotta go pick that up tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been very inviting to know that a game out of the blue, new IP, new this and new that, and not that I'm kind of saying every single person and their mom's going to pick this game up, but it's been nice enough to know to say the game has been built well, and people have at least been recognizing that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's got a Metacritic score of 77, which is really good.
It's still good.
Yeah, Nintendo's kind of been, in my opinion, hitting it out of the park lately with
I think at this
new
point,
IPs between that and Splatoon, because they both got similar scores. Splatoon was an 81 on Metacritic. This is a 77, well within my margin of error.
I think at this point right now, Nintendo knows there's probably not enough room anymore for keeping certain things about in the same direction that maybe it's been done the last 8 or 10 or 15 or 20 years.
No.
They know now certain things have to branch out.
Relying
on certain people now, and you gotta make it work.
And you can't rely on old IPs just to keep you afloat.
No, that's why we just got Splatoon, and now we just got ARMS at this point because likely a new, it's a new wave of people coming into the company, and I gotta kind of admit to say to them, like, look, every person who's made the IPs and has kept the company afloat, kept the company strongly afloat, they're getting to a certain age range now where you got to bring in some new blood. You got to bring in some new ideas here, because if you don't, well, how is the library going to expand more? Thankfully enough, again, Splatoon's one example, and hopefully ARMS will be another one for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to trying that one out. Nintendo. So to wrap up, do you think anybody won E3? Anyone blew you away particularly? Or was it just what we were
blown my socks off this year. So overall, here's what I thought. Microsoft had a strong message, but but even for the sheer amount of games that they showed, it was just very lukewarm for me in terms of what was coming out in terms of software for that behemoth console. Is it great? Is it something that they should not have done? No. Are they going to get their message conveyed? Sure. Over in the long run, probably. They just still have a lot. They still have some work. They still got some work to get done here. I am absolutely admiring that they are wanting to do crossplay, and they are one of those companies that are very much promoting it. Absolutely so. That's a check off and a yes on my book. Yeah. On Sony's end,
same old.
It's kind of the same old thing with Sony. Am I gonna buy certain the certain titles that are not even been out released yet? Yes, because it's not because of the Sony name, it is because of the studio that's making them, and I know how that studio makes their IPs and such. So therefore, I am looking forward to a very good percentage of the games that are coming out. But was I wowed by everything? Not really. Nintendo, I will say, genuinely got me smiling, got me excited. Got me.
I wasn't pumped. I wasn't pumped like when they showed Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
but I wasn't disappointed, and Microsoft.
Well, it didn't come as a disappointment at all.
Microsoft was the same way. I wasn't disappointed. Sony, kind of a letdown. Overhyping everything. Sony hyped everything. Microsoft managed to hype it, but not wear you out.
Yeah.
Nintendo's presser was a video that was less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, and granted, maybe a few titles I thought were gonna be maybe talked about, like a Super Smash Brothers.
Well, don't forget, Nintendo's not one that uses E3 to announce new titles. They'll just have a Nintendo Direct pop up in the middle of the week and be like, "Hey, here's a big announcement."
No, yeah, I know they've been going that route for a while, and E3 is just more of a place to kind of they take advantage of it more because they take advantage of it.
Someone tweeted that they need to rename the press conferences at E3 game trailers with clapping.
Game trailers with clapping. Oh my gosh! Oh, one game we didn't talk about: Mario plus Rabbids.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I absolutely want to play that game.
Not my bag, but
I get you. Oh no, for me, it was more of a RPG element. Mario, Rabbids. Okay, I haven't played a Rabbids game, but it doesn't look like it's out of the element of being too overly exaggerated.
I don't think they abandoned the 3DS. They announced both Metroid, a remake of Super Mario Brothers Super Mario Superstars, for the 3DS, which looks pretty cool.
I mean, I've heard Nintendo's pretty much saying they're going to still support the 3DS even beyond 2018, which is fine with me. I mean, just that little. I don't know how much more life that little portable's got.
The kids will still play the 3DS, and the Switch will be for the.
Let me just simply ask. So, do you think the 3DS is its successor? Do you think it's going to be in need of it after 2018?
There will be no successor.
Okay. So the 3DS is the end-all, be-all for the next 5 years, or like
it'll be the end-all, be-all for portable platforms if the Switch goes to where they want it.
Okay.
You may see a redesigned Switch that'll be a little more accommodatingly portable.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know you and I talked about an idea that likely they may do an idea where they just simply redesign the docking station and let that handle like a bigger bulk load when you're playing in TV mode.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see a 3DS successor.
No, we'll see. I would say if it doesn't come out, it's fine. If it does come out, I'm just simply relieved to say about damn time.
Microsoft I was impressed with. I saw a lot of cool stuff. The Xbox One X looks pretty cool. I'll be checking it out. I'll probably be buying one. Sony,
I don't like the name.
Was meh. I didn't see anything that made me want to go out and buy a PS4.
For me, it's more. I'm already an owner of it, and do I want half these titles that they brought out? Yeah, sure, of course. That's that. I'm not saying no to that. It's just what else new did they bring to the table? Not much else.
Nintendo once again managed to keep me happy. They're not making me regret my decision to buy a Switch. I've seen nothing
they
but
haven't
things
changed
that make me
my mind.
happy. I bought one. Mario Odyssey looks amazing. The new Metroid remake for the 3DS looks amazing. It all looks really good. Kirby, Yoshi.
Even the Fire Emblem game looks good too.
Fire Emblem looks good. Xeno Chronicles, even though I'm not a big JRPG guy, that looks amazing. Mm-hmm. Fire Emblem Warriors, which is they're doing that again. They're taking the Dynasty Warriors formula and attaching it to another IP.
Yep. Yeah, they are.
Looks okay. I'm fun with Hyrule Warriors, but it's a monotonous and tedious game. If you want to just go hack and slash and whack a bunch of shit, it's a good fun game to take your frustrations out on.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, Nintendo was very happy with. Overall, and Ubisoft showed off some pretty cool stuff. Overall, I was much happier this year at E3 than last year.
Yeah.
Last year I was like, you ain't shown me anything I give a crap about.
Yeah, pretty much on all sides. Minus give or take, Breath of the Wild took the show last year. But beyond that, though, Nintendo was kind of in the same boat. Just like
now, Nintendo's going to have a problem.
What else?
Mm-hmm. They're going to have one problem. They got to top Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, they do. And if that would be one more like a Wonder Song Zelda game on the Switch, 3 years from now or 4 years from now, you're definitely right. They definitely.
Well, the good news is that I hate to say this, Shigeru Miyamoto is kind of stepping back a bit over the years.
A little bit. He has.
Yoshiaki Kazume. He's kind of the general manager of the Nintendo EPD. He's kind of Miyamoto's protege. He's been doing a lot more hands-on. Odyssey is kind of his baby.
It is. Miyamoto, I believe, is handling the very big projects that Nintendo's also doing in the background that not a lot of people either. If you're not listening, if you're not paying attention to it when it is talked about, it's not talked about a lot. But Nintendo and the theme park stuff that's coming up in 2020,
he's very involved.
He's bigly involved in that one. I've been saying this one for a minute or for a while with some people.
That was where he started. Was in doing amusement park stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna just to close off for the night here was that don't be surprised when and likely Japan's gonna be the first ones first because that's where they're start building it now. But I know Florida they said they
started over here
expand over here too. But whenever it comes out, I've got a funny feeling Nintendo. I think the Switch is some type of a little Trojan horse that they're gonna just say the theme park's out. Oh yeah, and if you bring your Switch. Bring your Switch here, and you're going to see your Switch do things that you thought it could do.
Disney did some of that with something.
If you think your smartphone or your tablet device can do something fun when in the park by using an app, imagine what it can do with an actual dedicated, with a dedicated platform machine when you bring it right to the park.
Oh yeah, for definitely most.
If they do something like that, then it's again then food's in then the truth is in the pudding. There, they've got more Switches they can possibly sell because now you're gonna want more kids are gonna want to get one because now when they know where to go to a Disney theme park, they get other stuff.
Yeah. All right. Where can they find you online?
Mostly just on Facebook for the moment. Just Facebook.
And you can find me on Facebook at Admiral Joker. Be sure to follow us on Facebook for TW Network. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for TW Network. Also, Admiral Joker 40W Admiral Joker on YouTube. Do not go to 40WNetwork.com because it is down. I'm looking for a new host that doesn't charge me an arm and a leg to use.
Jeez.
Since I fund all this myself. So, but the good news is all new content will be on my YouTube channel, Admiral Joker. Be sure to subscribe, and that way you'll be notified whenever we go live. Yay!
Hooray.
And I will be doing a review of Breath of the Wild soon and explain why it is the greatest video game ever made. Yes, it is that damn good. Also, so thank you, Mario. Be sure to check it, and thank you so much, and have a good day.
Have a good night.
All right, so we're going to do an extra segment. Dang.
Okay. All right.
So, have you seen The Mummy lately?
No, I have not.
Damn it. Okay.
Was it good?
How about Pirates?
Oh gosh,
God
yes.
damn, you need to go see frickin' movies so I can do reviews.
No. We saw Pirates. That's my reaction to it was,
Oh.
Gosh.
Okay. We're going to do a live review of Pirates real quick, and I'll add it as an extra thing. On the
even cares. It was pretty effing horrible.
I didn't think it was horrible, so we'll talk about
it. My problem with the movie was basically this. How did I explain it to Carrie? In Pirates 1 and 2, maybe a little bit of 3, you had Johnny Depp.
All right, let me do an intro, and then we'll...
Sure. We'll talk about
3... All right, so we're going to do a brief review of Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales. God, all the titles get confusing after a while.
Yes.
Dead Men Tell No Tales. All right, so Mario and I have both seen the movie, and I want to talk about it briefly because a lot of people are saying it is not so good of a movie. Personally, I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. I don't think it's as good as the first one. Not at all.
Yeah.
I really love the first one. I think it is worse than the second one.
Yep.
And third one.
Yep.
But it is far superior to Stranger Tides.
I'm going to be bluntly honest. I saw it when it came out in theaters, Stranger Tides, and I don't even remember what was the movie was about.
Mermaids and Blackbeard and Looking for the Fountain of Youth. I saw it going to Johnny. Okay, Jack Sparrow works best when he's like Han Solo. He isn't the focus character, but he's that, he's that rogue that shows up every once in a while that you enjoy seeing, and then the other characters come back in and do their thing. You didn't have anybody in Stranger Tides to do that. You had that priest character. They tried to make the main character. He was generic as all hell, and the movie just focused on Sparrow and Barbossa. Now, in my opinion, Dead Men Tell No Tales, you got a much better villain. Javier Bardem's Salazar is a much better villain than any of the other villains in the series. He
definitely, he was probably the only, for me, it was the only redeeming factor of the movie was really him. Well, that was about it.
I like Jeffrey. I love Barbossa. I love how his story came, by the way, full spoiler here. His story came full circle. Which is sad for me because Barbossa was my favorite character in the series.
Barbossa has just been the badass of all of them.
They didn't put as much emphasis on Jack Sparrow in this film as they did the previous ones.
I kind of felt as if Jack Sparrow in this one, I had to tell this to my wife, and I told her this. Look, first three movies, give or take the third one, it was like Johnny Depp embodying Jack Sparrow and commanding and doing what would be the best way Jack Sparrow would approach it.
Right.
This one felt as if
look at Jack's antics.
It almost felt as if it was the exact
that freaking
opposite.
bank scene ran way too long.
Oh my gosh, that was way
The other
too
issue is it is a too long of a movie. It could have easily have been a 90-minute movie.
I call it was like Jack Sparrow was not letting Johnny Depp do his job, and Jack Sparrow just wanted to be happily drunk the whole time.
Yep. But the characters the secondary character, or not secondary, the new leads for the series, I actually didn't mind too much.
Oh gosh, they were kind of terrible for me, man. I was starting to pick up my cell phone and looking at something on my screen.
I liked Henry Turner. I thought he was at least now. Look, Orlando Bloom was, in my opinion, was great in the first one. Keira Knightley, I'm not a big fan of hers. Her best role was in this movie just because she didn't see a single line. She shows up for like 30 seconds.
30 freaking seconds, and that shot cost us
$1 million. Doesn't say a line.
Not one.
You could have easily just got another actress, superimpose her head on it, and been done with it, which they didn't, because that's obvious. But
hey, everyone's doing it. Star Wars is doing it.
Yeah. So they did that. Orlando Bloom shows up like twice, and each time he shows up, you're like, oh God, I want to see him again.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I do miss him, but
I also see this as a possible setup to make him the primary character once again in the series.
Oh yeah,
for him to take back over.
Yeah,
I hope so, because he was the heart of the series when in the first three films. Yeah. And when they put more emphasis on Jack and pushed him in the back, the films got worse.
Yes, they did.
And they kind of are trying to go back to that, I think, by using Henry as the starting off point to get another character in front of Jack. The only thing is, Brenton Thwaites, or whatever his name is, doesn't have the ability to override Johnny Depp's charisma. Bloom does.
Yeah, Bloom complements alongside with him.
Bloom can complement, and Bloom can overshadow when he needs to. He can push Depp's charisma down to where he can come to the forefront. Mm-hmm. He didn't have that, or Thwaites didn't have that capability. Now, the girl that played Karina did.
She did a good job.
She
I
did a
think
much
she
better
was,
job,
she
and
was more,
she was the more interesting
she was more
character.
interesting than Henry. She was.
She was definitely the more interesting character, and you could tell whenever she was playing off of Johnny Depp or off Rush, she was playing with them the way you need to, and she could also command when she kind of needed to at the same time.
Yeah.
She could push them back when she needed to, and did it well. Because Rush can push anybody back. He just, it's Jeffrey fucking Rush. You know, if he says, I'm going to lead this scene, he's going to push you down and he's going to take over. That's because he's that damn good. And losing him is probably, if he is gone permanently from the series, which he probably is,
Yeah.
it's going to be very difficult for the series to continue because you lost the only other strong character in the entire franchise.
That's about right. I think,
But
though,
you
I think Pirates
gained,
is dumb,
but if
though.
Bloom comes back, you gained one of your stronger characters.
If you
back.
were going to do something with Bloom, don't call it Pirates of the Caribbean anymore. You might as well just give it a different title
Well,
altogether.
they are setting it up that way because the sequel, you saw the end credit. Did you see the end credit scene?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because basically he thought he saw what's his face, Davy Jones at his doorstep, which looks like he was, and that's fine. But I'm just kind of thinking, I don't know, might as well call it this, like a Pirates of the Caribbean story, and then enter the subtitle part of the title, but let it be all about.
I would actually enjoy Pirates spinoffs.
I wouldn't mind it.
Things in that universe
mind
without
it.
Jack Sparrow, without those characters, with the supernatural elements. I would actually enjoy that.
I hear you. You know what movie title I think Disney really should do? And I've told this one to my wife a couple of times because number one, it was done back in the 50s. Well, wow, was it the 50s, give or take, or the 60s? I think would be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Actually, I think
they've been trying to push a new version of that for a long time.
Has it just been pretty much production value, or just that they think no one's going to care? Which it's a good. It's a Jules Verne story.
All the above.
I got you.
You got to remember. We've had 15 different versions of that.
Done by Disney, or I'm assuming just done by so many.
It's a public domain book.
So. Well, you're right. Yeah.
Jules Verne, man.
Mm-hmm.
They've done several. Disney was trying to make a remake of it with Guy Ritchie, I want to say.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Someone was working on a remake. Bryan Singer may have been it.
Oh, okay.
That he wants to do a version.
It would be the title to itself, the story of it. If anyone's ever actually read it, it is a very interesting story.
You do know there's a sequel.
Yeah, I know of the sequel. 20,000 in the Sea. We added again.
No,
but I do know. Yeah, but I do know there was
Monster Island.
Oh my gosh!
No, the Mysterious Island.
Oh, the Mysterious
Island is the sequel to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I've known that actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's got Nemo's in it and the Nautilus.
Interesting.
Actually, it's the book that features the death of Captain Nemo.
Sure. Huh.
Yeah, he dies and I think they burn him. Oh, the island gets destroyed by a volcano, and I want to say they put him in the Nautilus, and it gets destroyed. Yeah, it's been a long time since I read it, but yeah, it is actually
oh, cool though.
A sequel to that and another book.
It's like I can sit back and watch the original, the original Disney adaptation to it, and I still think to this day it was choreographed and done and directed so wonderfully. And I saw that movie when I was a kid. Being like 5 or 6 years old, and I was so intrigued by it, and I'm thinking back to now, being 34. I said, what 5 or 6 year old kid now would even remotely find that movie, as interesting as when I saw it? Well, I'm not sure if you're like.
This is made in 1954.
Yeah,
so,
he's like what? He's like 10 years old now, or is he 9?
He's 10.
Okay, he's 10. Oh, there we go. He might have a better appreciation for it. I don't doubt it. But
That's good was scary as shit.
Yes, it was, man. To this day, sometimes I got some weird dreams and some weird nightmares about that darn thing.
All right, so Mario didn't like pirates.
No.
I liked pirates.
Oh.
I suggest it is a rental.
It
I will say that
when it's
It's a
available on
rental.
Netflix, then yes, go ahead and watch it if you want.
not one of those things. You really
But
gotta
definitely
sit
not
down.
a keeper, not one if you're trying to collect all the movies. If you
Oh, I'll
just
buy it. I'll rewatch it. I
sake
rewatch them
just
all.
collecting it, okay. But if it's just for the sake of saying, I may be collecting them though, but I know about, but I'm just not a fan of it, and I get that.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, I'm killing the feed.
Alrighty. I think that went well.